With us now is Rina Shah, former senior GOP congressional advisor and senior advisor to Our Republican Legacy, and Joel Rubin, former deputy assistant secretary of state under Barack Obama and a Democratic strategist. All right, Joel, I want to go to you first because we're talking about your party.
Why not?
How much of a I mean, Mamdani clearly, with that defund the police sound that we played at the top, is trying to say, I didn't really say that, but he clearly said it. If I'm Hakeem Jeffries and my job is to try to win, to become the Speaker of the House, how worried am I? And how would you advise? Hakeem Jeffries calls you, Joel, how do I handle this? What do you say?
Well, I say, first of all, the messaging that he's using might be appropriate for a blue Democratic primary in New York, but there are 38 seats that the Democrats are targeting in Republican-held districts to take back the House. And if you want to actually do something about this country and push back against Trump, we need the House. So that messaging will not work across the country. And so I think this is, in a way, an outlier, and it needs to be treated as such. That does not mean it's not important, but it also is not a model for every district.
So do you try to say, like, oh, I like some things about him and I don't like some things about him? Because I think if Hakeem Jeffries says, like, hey, look, Zohran Mamdani's fine from New York, but it's not going to work to get us the House, there would be at least some level of outrage in the Democratic base, right?
There would be some concern, but you know what? This is a very controversial situation right now inside the party. First of all, Mamdani got about 10% of the eligible voters in the primary. So it's not as if there was a mass groundswell for a primary candidate in late June in the hot, sweltering city of New York. I think that the Hakeem Jeffries team, I think that they are playing this right. They need to be patient. They need to move Mamdani. These quotes are, in many ways, disqualifying for Democratic candidates. And so they need to see a little more repentance and a little more change in the message to kind of pull this into a broader national audience.
Okay, so, Rina, I want to play for you something. We have a great production team, and they put this together. I want to play you something about how Donald Trump is handling Zohran Mamdani. I'll come back and react to it.
This guy is a communist at the highest level. We don't need a communist in this country.
He absolutely does not want to see Mamdani elected, who is a known communist.
He's a communist. He's not a socialist. He's a communist. Frankly, I've heard he's a total nutjob.
I think my favorite one of those is, this guy is a communist at the highest level. There's a lot of different levels to be a communist. Anyway, so Donald Trump has made his decision here. Is this something that Republicans nationally should pick up on, or is this, you know, a localized New York thing?
Well, of course it is, but I wish they'd just call it socialism, because the Democrat Socialists of America are known to the public. And what you say is, look, socialism tries to say, we're going to give you equality, but what it really delivers is struggle. Just look at Cuba and Venezuela. Food shortages, poverty, loss of freedoms. We don't want to be those countries. People from those countries come here and they thrive. That's the only playbook that needs to be run right now. And why we're listening to Trump on anything, I don't understand. He needs to just stay out. And by the way, you need to learn how to pronounce his last name. Mamdani loved that moment with Andrew Cuomo, right, in that debate where he had to correct him to say, here's how you say my name. I think Cuomo actually even said
I think
it right.
Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary, was doing the thing. She was like putting both of them together.
Yeah,
first and last name,
bizarre.
Mamdani.
Yeah.
Okay, to me, and I know we focus on defund the police, and we focus I just said Mamdani. You got me doing it.
Hey,
that Mamdani has said.
Man.
We focus on the grocery stores. We focus on the free bus. But I want to play something that, to me, if I'm a Democrat, is the most concerning as it relates to Zohran Mamdani going national in a bad way. Let's play that.
For some New Yorkers, this phrase is one that refers to civil disobedience and protests, a call to end the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land. That distance between what some intend and what others hear is a bridge that is too far. And it is why I have not used the phrase, and it is why I discourage its use.
The phrase there, of course, is Zohran Mamdani saying, globalize the intifada.
Yeah.
This obviously has caused, huge rifts within the Democratic Party.
That's right.
Mamdani is probably, if not the most prominent Democrat in the country at the moment. He's certainly up there, given his win and the attention it's gotten. How big an issue, personally, do you find that, and then politically?
Well, as a Jewish American, I find it deeply offensive that someone running for political office can't have the moral clarity to immediately denounce that line. That's incitement to violence, that line. That's analogous to Jews will not replace us in Charlottesville. You denounce it. and then you move on and you explain your policy and what you want and talk about
you say, that's not how I think of it or talk about it. Here's how I do it.
You don't take 2,000 years of debate and discussion with New Yorkers to try to think they understand. No, you denounce it. So it makes a concern. And in the Jewish community, it's a deep concern because does he believe it? And this is not language that, as a Democrat, will win for us nationally either. And that's my big concern. If this is the language that takes over a part of the Democratic coalition, that could be very damaging in the actual elections themselves.
So what do you do about it? I mean, you know, it's like in both the defund the police clip we just played and in the globalized intifada play, he's clearly trying to sort of shuffle it back, but he's not walking everything back. The reality is everybody has this film on him, right? Everybody has this video. What do you do?
Well, what you do first and foremost is you hold the line, as we're seeing today. Hakeem Jeffries holding the line, others holding the line. There are some who immediately endorsed him right away without getting any concessions. Right. That's a mistake. And then you have to have a positive vision for the policy. You have to talk, yes, about the war in Gaza and about the need for a Palestinian state and have a positive vision as well. But you need to hold the line and get that language stamped out.
With all due respect, I really think somebody needs to sit him down and say, we need to reframe how you're doing this, man. If you really want to win, and he has the energy, the charisma, right? But this race is about experience as well. It's also about public safety. It's also about housing. And so we get those things, and you have a trio in which Mamdani, if he comes out with a better message, a more clear message, more concise message, he might actually have a chance. I mean, I think right now with Adams and Cuomo, what they're trying to stress is that New York City has a $100 billion budget. Mamdani has experience running an assembly member staff. That's about it. No other work experience. And I think also, you know, his vision is still a socialist vision, and that's untested for a city that has such massive global obligations. And it's a gamble that the city, frankly, can't afford, because what Mamdani is also proposing, and he's calling it the Department of Community Safety. That's just a rebrand of defunding the police. I mean, when you look at what New York City's gone through between 2019 and 2021, they had a 30% rise in crime. I mean, what does that tell you? You need somebody who's serious on the issue.
Well, and that's the thing, right? You don't elect a political science or philosophy professor. You elect someone who's actually in charge of an actual, like, this is not a theoretical argument.
Which is what goes to the concern about not being able to clearly respond to this globalized intifada. If you can't answer that, how can you take the hard decision?
I get the rage against the machine, Joel. You and I have both dealt with it in our own separate ways. But the way in which a Democrat that is serious and can run this city and that can innovate in this city is going to win is by reframing this whole conversation. It's all wrong right now.
And I wonder, and I gotta go, though I'd love to keep going. I wonder if you gave truth serum to every Democrat in the House Democratic Caucus, how many of them would say they want Zohran Mamdani to be the next governor, next mayor of New York City? We'll see. Rina, Joel, thank you for spending some of your Friday night with me. Much appreciated.